Hey, everybody. So we are live tonight, and because I know that a lot of people were on my page earlier today, because of a post that I put up. Yeah, and I just got home. I just came to my mom's. I needed to be here with her to help take care of some things. I decided that I would just go live on that subject matter tonight and share some information with you guys. And I'm even including my personal page in this live. So I have up my phone as well because that way I can see comments from my personal page as well that I would not be able to see otherwise. So just bear with me for a second. Now I have everything set up and ready to go. Hey, Christy, how are you? Um, and I'll give it a second for folks to get in here. I know it's a kind of a strange title, but it is the post that I put up today that garnered the attention and got some people upset with me. And so I figured let's just do that. Hey, Addie, how are you? Hey, Elizabeth, how are you? What's up, Jamie? This ought to be an interesting live, huh? I really had debated about whether or not I was going to go live today. I haven't been feeling good for about 36 hours or so. Been in a little bit of a Graves flare up, and so haven't felt quite myself. But I got here tonight, and then after the conversation today, or the interactions that took place on my Facebook page, I thought it prudent to just go ahead and do this live. So I put up a post today. I was driving home to Tennessee. Now, anybody who has followed me um, um, for Oh, yeah. I'm going to share some info with you, and then I'm going to give you a great resource for it too. So let me just share this. So if you followed me, for example, back since 2018, 2016, 2017, you have heard me talk about where I'm from in Northeast Tennessee. And you have heard me talk about the fact that there's a lot of covert racism that happens here. There's a lot of different types of issues that happen here where I'm from. And here's the thing, the majority of the white people here don't think that there's a problem with race because there's so very few black people here. See, so and I'm going to give you some statistics here in just a second to kind of bring that point home. But it's very, very hard to think that you have a race problem when all your black folks stay in line because there's not that many of them, right? Self-preservation will have people, kind of taking care of themselves and making sure they're good. So, all right. So let me just kind of share with you what happened today. I put up a post today that said, why does this say this? Oh, that's why. Hold on, y'all. Something very funky is happening. Well, I don't know why it's happening like that. But anyway, okay, so listen. So I put up a post today because I was driving home to Northeast Tennessee. I was driving home to the Tri-Cities. And I drank about a little more than a half a gallon of water because I've been really pushing fluids to try to make myself feel better. And as I was doing that today, I forgot. Normally, what I do, because of the way that I drive home, I typically will make sure that I use the bathroom before I leave North Carolina and get over into Tennessee. Because once you get up into Tennessee, you are in kind of the mountains, right? And when you first come down out of those mountains, you're going to see like Flag Pond, and then you're going to see Irwin, which is in Unicoi County. And I have talked about this before that I don't stop and use the bathroom in Irwin. I just don't. There have been times, I remember one time I had to go to the bathroom really, really bad, like today. And I pulled off and was like, wait, I'm in Irwin. So no, I'm not going to do that. Right. And so Jamie, do me a favor. Can you pop onto my personal page and tell me if you can see the video playing on my page there? And if so, click it on my personal page for me and comment. Just I need to see if it's working there or not. So anyway, so I had put up a post today about the fact that I waited about 7 or 8 exits to go to the bathroom, and I actually did. I went until I got to the first exit in Johnson City to go to the bathroom. Johnson City tends to be more diverse than the other counties around here because it has East Tennessee State University, right? And it has the VA Medical Center. So that is an area that while not very, very diverse, is the most diverse that you're going to find around here. It's not, see, that's what I thought. Damn. Give me a second. Thanks, Jamie, for checking me. So now let me share it to my personal page. Okay, that should do it. All right. So, somebody else had asked where to see it, and I just want to make sure that where is she? Shoo-wee, good low. Hopefully they'll see it now that I shared it over there. Thanks, you guys, for bearing with me. All right, there we go. Okay, so hey, Loretta. Yeah, I just shared it. Thanks, Jamie. Okay, so here's the deal. So I've talked about this for a long time about, when you're brought up around here, there are just things we know. So you know how we always talk about the conversations that African American people have to have with their children. Well, we have conversations about where we go and where we don't go after dark, where we stop and go to the bathroom, where we don't go to the bathroom. And these are things that maybe you don't know about because you don't have to think about them, but it is 100% absolutely true about where we go. And in case you think that this is just a Danny Cook opinion, I'm going to share with you a video from TikTok last year from a young Black male from Prince George County up in Maryland, which is a very affluent county, predominantly Black, similar to what you will see in Atlanta, but even more so. And I'm going to let you see this 1-minute video from him. Remember that this is last year. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about why I said what I said, and why I'm not apologizing for it. And then I'm going to give you some great information from experts in this area. Okay. And so we'll talk about that too in just a second, but I'm going to share this video right now. Give me a sec.
Talk about when this kid from PG County, Maryland discovered what a sundown town was for the first time. For those of you who don't know about PG County, it is one of the wealthiest, predominantly Black counties in the country. So your boy was a little sheltered. So because of COVID, I took up a new hobby, and that was hiking. Last year, I told myself I'm gonna go to Devil's Bathtub. It's one of Virginia's hidden gems. But here's the thing, it is deep in Virginia. Like in between Tennessee and Kentucky deep. It is in the middle of nowhere. As I was leaving there, I stopped somewhere in Kentucky at this no-name gas station, and the cashier was like, "You best not be around here after dark. This is a sundown town." So I did a quick Google search. There are towns that Black people aren't allowed to live in. They can work there, however. Once that sunset hits, they gotta get the hell out of there. If they're not, they will be escorted out by law or an angry mob. So I got the fuck out of there. You wanna know the irony? Michael Jackson's Beat It played on my way out. I encourage you to listen to those lyrics and think.
Yeah. So this is last year. This is a young Black man from Maryland, right? PG County, which is very, very affluent, predominantly Black. And he's decided to take up hiking because of COVID. And he goes down, you heard him, in Devil's Bathtub. Many of you guys are going to know exactly where he was. He stops at a gas station and he's told, "You best not be around here when this sun goes down." It really, really irritates me when people come on one of my posts, like Tiffany or like Brad or like the fake account that was on there, and they say things like, "Oh, well, this isn't really true, and Erwin's not that bad," and da 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 da. Listen, if you are white and you tell me that, forgive me if I disregard what you say, because your opinion is not relevant. I don't expect for you to have the same reaction or experience that I have or anybody else has that's a person of color, because you, quite frankly, don't matter in this conversation. And I hate to say it that way, but you really don't. So I'm going to give you some information. How many of you guys know who James Lowen is? So James Lowen is a sociologist. That is not a socialist, by the way. That's a sociologist. He's a historian and he's an author. Unfortunately, he just passed away 2 weeks ago, and he's a significant loss to the academic community. But he wrote a book called Lies My Teacher Told Me. And it's a phenomenal book. I still want to do the book club on it, Ethan. But it's a phenomenal book that talks about all of the information that is left out of our textbooks with regard to real American history. And so he in 1995 or 99, he started doing a bunch of research around sundown towns. And in part of that research, he started making a log. He thought he might find a few. He was astonished to find more than 500 sundown towns just in the state of Illinois. Just in the state of Illinois. Okay. So I'm going to give you a link. The university where he was also a professor at, they are keeping his legacy going by giving you information about his work. And so, and his book is called, hold on a second. I just had it. Not the Lies My Teacher Told Me book, but he has a book on sundown towns. And he's talking about the hidden racism within America. And so they created a website. I want to go to the general. So it's got several things in it, but I'm specifically going to give you the link to the Sundown Town portion of the website. There's more. Okay. But I'm going to give you, this is the link to the actual list, to the sundown towns. And there's an interactive map. So if you are interested in finding out where the sundown towns are, yeah, Heather Harvey says, I was just in Irwin today and that overwhelming vibe is very much there. Yeah, it really is. And I mean, you know, people can say, you held your pee. I did. And, you know, that might seem like a small thing. First of all, it's not when you've had about 70 ounces of water in a few hour time period. It's not a small thing. Number two, it is not something that most white people have to think about. You do not have to think about if it is safe for you to stop and urinate at a gas station. You don't. But I can tell you this, Irwin is still today considered to be a quote unquote probable sundown town. Now, let me explain to you what happened in Irwin, Tennessee. And before everybody starts saying, oh, that was a long, long time ago because it was 1918. Let me just back up. That would be the time my grandmother would have been. That's only going back 2 generations, right? Because my mom was born in the 1940s, right? So go back one more generation and that would have been my grandmother. Are y'all with me? So stop acting like this is like 500 freaking years ago. It's not. Oh, hold on, Jamie. Probably because I was trying to, okay, let me give you this one. I have like 5 of them pulled out. Try this link, Jamie. And then when you try that link that I just now gave you, yeah, it's different. Try the link that I just put up. And when you look down at the bottom of that link, you will see, you'll see using the database, how to research and teach about sundown towns, other information on it. And then you'll see sundown town illustrations. You'll see all of these different links where you can go. And there's a database. If you actually click that database, you will see that there's an interactive map where you can click the different states and you can see the sundown towns. Okay. Here's what happened in Irwin. All right. So in Irwin, Tennessee, here's what happened. They had a very small Negro population back in Irwin, Tennessee. And this is actually this is coming from the University of Tennessee Hoskins Library that is quoted on this website. And it says the Negro population, which was very small, was located in 2 areas in Unicoi County. Sam's Gap, descended from slaves owned by Josiah Sams, and Irwin, where they were railroad laborers. In 1918, unrestrained, ghoulish mob violence eradicated the Negro population in Unicoi County. So here is the story about what happened. Tom DeVert, a Negro, grabbed, allegedly, a 15-year-old white girl as she and her young brother walked along the railroad tracks near the Nolichucky River. When DeVert tried to swim across the river with the girl, he was shot twice through the head with a .44 by one of the 4 men playing poker nearby. One of the men pulled the Negro's body from the water and tied it to a locomotive. It was then dragged 1.5 miles to the railroad powerhouse. a large mob gathered, and the entire Negro population, an estimated 60 to 70 persons, was forced to watch the proceedings. Men piled cross ties and sticks on the dead man, poured oil over the wood, and then set it afire. L.H. Fetterplace, who was the general manager of the Clinchfield Railroad Company, interceded when the mob moved towards the Negro shacks with the intention of burning them. The homes were not burned, but the Negroes were ordered to leave the county. Law enforcement officers were present the entire time and offered no interference. Erwin citizens met at the courthouse on May 21st, 1918, and they passed a resolution condemning the burning of the body of the Negro and ordering, quote, the peaceable and law-abiding Negroes to leave the town and the community. So let me just back up and let you know something. Erwin, oh wait, where's my other little thing that I have for you? So when I give you the actual statistics, here we go. There were very few counties in Tennessee. Hey, Teresa, honey. There were very few counties in Tennessee that had fewer than 10 blacks. By 1930, it had 2, right? And listen, I want you to listen. Where is it? Unicoi County had 219 blacks living in it in 1890. In 1930, it only had 13 because they eradicated all of them. They ran all the black folk out of Erwin, out of Unicoi County in 1918. And they did the same thing in Hancock County, Tennessee. Hancock County went from 727 in 1890 down to 162 in 1930, 110 in 1950, 99 in 1960. Hancock County is not considered a sundown town, just racist AF, right? Grundy, Tennessee went from 137 in 1870, right? All the way down to 1960, they had 15. I know, I saw that, Brandon. Yep. I mean, it's great that they're pardoned, but posthumously, like after they're already dead, right? So when people say to me, thank you, Addie. Exactly. Grundy did too. Grundy had a sign that said, if you're black, turn back. I mean, literally, there was somebody who commented on my status earlier and said the last sign she personally saw in Erwin was in 2017. The last time she saw a Sundown Town sign in Erwin was in 2017. So when people want to say to me, oh, Danny Cook, you're being racist. No, I'm being a realist. I grew up in this region. I know exactly what it is. And everybody that's black, we know where we don't go. We don't go to Erwin. We don't go to Elizabethan. We stay out, period. You know, Richard, here's the thing. My answer is no. I left here for a reason, the first time and the second time. This region has no desire to change. And then this is just my opinion. Well, I'm not missing out now. I just spent the last 2 years living here. I just left again in the spring. So no, I'm not missing out. I just left here. Let me tell you how much I know I'm not missing out, Richard Vork. One of the main reasons I left here was because my health and well-being and that of my mother was being threatened by a white racist here. There's a court case. The man has been indicted for harassing me and threatening my civil rights, trying to intimidate my civil rights. So no, don't tell me how much this region has changed. There's no one here that can tell me how much this region has changed. Am I saying that it is everyone? Of course I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that it is still here, thick as thieves in mud. It is still here. And it is still here in a lot of degrees, in a lot of ways. And I'm sorry, but no, I have no desire to be here anymore. None whatsoever. No, in the Tri-Cities region, Greg. So no. And so just so that we're clear, so that you all understand why white people in Irwin don't think there's a problem, it's because Irwin is 95.3% white. Unicoi County is 97.4% white. Of the remaining percentage, less than 1% of Irwin is black. It's 0.7%, and that's according to the Census Bureau. And in Unicoi County, it's half of 1%. Half of 1%. Do you know the other areas? Buchanan County is considered a sundown town. Grundy, Virginia, and Tennessee. Weber City, Wise. No, it's not because of the stigma. It's because of what is. And that's what people don't. So listen, just because you do not see crosses burning in people's yards does not mean that systemic racism is not there. Well, you know what? Then they ought to act better. I was literally told that people were tired of me thinking I'd become something. Listen, that is 2020. That's the 2020 way of saying Negro, stay in your place. That's what that is. When someone says to you, we're tired of thinking you think you've become something while you're calling me racial slurs. Listen, Wise County, Scott County just had the KKK driving down through the damn town. What, a month ago, handing out trash bag, Ziploc bags with corn and KKK flyers in it. Let me see what else I had pulled up to give y'all. I gave y'all that one link. Here is the link specifically for Irwin, and here's the way that it's classified. Oh, let me just back up. Let me back up. Let me read for a little while. So listen. So this is from an article in the Johnson City Daily written on May 20th, 1918. And it says, quote, all the Negro population, some 60 or 70, were summoned from their houses and made to line up, while men gathered wood, cross ties, and sticks and piled them over the dead body. The crowd lingering until far into the night to watch the burning. No attempt at concealment was made on the part of any participant. There was no interference on the part of the officers. The populace, inflamed against the Negro and all others of his race, are said to have threatened to burn the Negro quarters, but were dissuaded by the general manager, that's Mr. Fetterplace of the railroad company, who sought to stop them from their acts. Get this, however, all Negroes were ordered to leave the town by members of the party, and it is said that the exodus set in early last night, and that today there are few left in Irwin. This is in the Johnson City Daily, guys. Judge R.M. Berry, addressing a Red Cross meeting this morning, urged the citizens to let alone innocent colored people and stop what promised to be an exodus of that race. Men with pistols, shotguns, and clubs stood before the lined up Negroes to prevent their running away. And as the last cross tie and the last dash of oil was thrown on the heap, one of the men was reported to have turned to the cowering crowd and said, watch what we are going to do here. If any of you are left in town by tomorrow night, you will meet the same fate. Now, some of you guys are going to say that, oh, that was whenever. Here's the thing. You need to understand the differences between overt and covert racism. So let me explain to you what covert racism looks like. Covert racism looks like coming onto this post and deflecting from this conversation to bring up Antifa, which has nothing to do with this conversation. See, this is what gaslighting looks like. This is what covert racism looks like. When you come on something that's giving very factual information with like cited resources, with real research, and then someone comes and does that. That, my friends, is what covert racism looks like. That is what gaslighting looks like. If y'all want to go here, we can go here today. We can absolutely 100% go here today. Because I'm literally tired of it. Addie, you are not the first person to tell me that. I have been repeatedly told that there were KKK officials within Churchill and a few others. I've been repeatedly told that. There is such a difference when I go to other areas that are more diverse. It is so different. So I worked for the state of Tennessee for 30 plus years, and in the Kingsport, Johnson City, Elizabeth, and Greenville, there were less than total of 5 Black employees in her department in 30 years. Yeah, that's it. Austin, I don't know what that means. What does that mean? So this again is covert racism. If you say to me, well, my one Black friend that I know says he hasn't faced any problems. So let me just go ahead and address this. First of all, do y'all think Black people are supposed to tell you they're having a problem? Do you think, honestly, if you make up like half of 1% of the population, which means the white people control where you live, what you eat, where you work, if you live, what you wear, what you buy, where you go, do you think Black people here are supposed to open their mouths and tell you y'all are racist? Hell no. And I'm not saying all of you are racist. I am not saying that. What I am saying to you is that do you think that the Black people who live here are supposed to say to you, yeah, you said this the other day that was racist? Do you know how many times I have sat in the room with people that I know that I grew up with from here, and I have seen, and I've had to laugh off things that I know are racist, things that I know are prejudiced, simply because you don't make up enough of the population to matter. Just so we're clear, what is less than 1% of the population going to change in Unicoi County? Exactly, Harley. Exactly. Stop saying Black people say, oh, well, we have an experience. What are they supposed to say to you? It's amazing to me that you don't get it. And if you comment something like that, number one, this is a public broadcast, right? You are putting your words up here for me to address because it's my live. So if I say what you're saying is an example of covert racism and you don't like it, tough. Either don't say anything or get off the live. Those are your choices. Let me tell y'all what I hear. Well, he don't mean nothing by that. He's a good old boy. He's a good boy. He don't mean nothing. Listen, he means exactly what he says. And he might be a good person to you. He might be a good person for you. That don't make him a good person for me or for my grandchildren. Richard, I already gave the link, and I already said in the broadcast, he literally just passed away 2 years ago. I put up the link for his entire research, the entire article. Yeah. Yeah. And Addie, I don't blame you for taking it as a warning. There's a reason people say what they say. And this is the thing. So let me just explain something. If you are white and you are attempting to hear all sides of the argument from your white lens and from your white perspective, it's not going to happen. Listen, if you have the same pair of glasses on, I don't care if you look all around the room, you're going to still have the same tint. You're going to have the same tainting. You're going to have the same shading over it. You're not going to be able to really see the issue. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. See, this is the thing that gets me. Y'all don't get it. I could go back and find a Facebook Live that I did in 2018 when I came home. And so y'all know, if you're coming up 81, right? And you get right before you get to exit 74, right before you get to the hospital exit, there's that hill over there. And if you're coming towards Bristol, it's going to be on your left. If you're leaving Bristol, it's going to be on your right. But there's that big hill up there. I don't know whose house it is. I don't know whose land it's on, but they're flying the biggest, largest Confederate damn flag I've ever seen in my life, ever. And it's flying there high. Listen, people thought I was kidding when I was doing my lives and I was talking about this flag back home. And so when I came home, I literally pulled over to the side of the road and stood up out of my sunroof and went live and said, yo, there's that flag I told you about. And before you talk to me about how this flag is not racist, it is. It absolutely is. The Confederacy was racist. It's literally in the cornerstone speech that Black people are not equal, that we are inferior, that we are never meant to have the same privileges as anyone else. It's literally in the cornerstone speech for the Confederacy. So do not throw that flag in my face and say it's your heritage. If it is your heritage, then your heritage is racist. Own it. Whew. Well, Richard, here's what I would say to you. So you stop saying you're not denying the history. Literally, someone who lives there, literally just today said that in 2017 there were signs put up. She said that's the last time she saw a sign. She physically saw a Sundown Town sign in Irwin in 2017. So do not say it's Irwin's history. That's pretty damn recent for me. Right? And I would say that as long as people still report the sightings of these Sundown Town signs and racist signs in the community, it's probably not going to be taken off the list. That's what I would say. I mean, what's up, Danye Boo? It is what it is. These are just, so y'all could be mad at me because I'm going to say, yep, I hold my pee when I come from North Carolina into Tennessee. You bet I do. You'd have to ask that person, Richard. You'd have to ask that person. And do you know what? So let me just explain what you're doing, sir. But let me explain what you're doing. All you are concerned about is getting your town to not look like it's racist. You're not worried about, is it really racist? You're not worried about if it really is still racist. You're not worried about the experience of Black people in your town, just how to get your town off of the damn list. Just saying. That's part of the problem. Well, how do we get our town off at their list? Not how do we make our town more welcoming and inclusive to Black and brown people and indigenous people and people of color. Not see, and so now it's an accusation. It can't be real because you didn't experience it. I'm not here for it today, sir. I'm not. I'm not. Folks, I'm just saying. No, that is not true, Richard. You cannot get sued if you say that. Here's the way that you write that. Can I help you from one journalist to another? So let me explain it to you. So what you do is, so reportedly, right? And a Black woman, if she does not still feel safe traveling through Erwin, and a member of the community states that they saw with their own eyes in 2017, da 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 da. And according to Lowen's work, right? Erwin is still considered a probable sundown town today. See, that's how you state that. You're not stating it as a fact. You are reporting what my opinion is. If you could only print what was a solid fact, you wouldn't print shit all day. Anyway. And who determines what's a fact? White news outlets? Is that who gets to decide what's a fact around racism? It's only considered a fact racially if a white news outlet says it is. Not because I can say I grew up here and what I've experienced in this region my entire life, or what someone else can say that they witnessed in the community. Like, so none of that matters. It can only be. I'm just asking, because we know that if you are a reporter from this region, you are only working for a white news outlet, because there's not one of color here. So, next. Thank you, Jamie. So Jamie just put up this article and said the guy that's in this article was the Imperial Wizard of the KKK in Churchill. And he was her neighbor. Y'all already know, I've already told you, the headquarters for White Lives Matter was right down past Rogersville. Right down past Rogersville. Right now I'm visiting my mother, Barbara. Why do you ask where I'm located? Yeah. Yeah, of course I get it all the way around. Always have. Right, Danye. Why do you ask? Yeah. Oh. Gotcha. Barbara, you have to forgive me for asking, but people want to know where I'm located for not really the most pure of reasons sometimes. So that's a conversation we can have offline. Yeah. Gotcha. No, I'm good with that. But hopefully you get why I said it. Because when it's somebody, especially if it's a new name, and it's someone I don't recognize, and it's whatever. Yeah, that my first instinct, especially around a topic and conversation like this. Teresa knows. Yeah. So anyway, just to okay, Johnson City, cool. So just to kind of like wrap this up and to explain, because we covered a lot. So here's the thing. One of the things that I've seen the most, I put up I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but there's a triangle that has been put up with a line on it, and it actually shows you the difference between overt racism and covert racism, right? And overt racism, everybody screams and they find offense to, right? Nobody wants to. Well, I don't like that they're KKK. I don't support that stuff, and we don't whatever. But listen, there are other forms, and by the way, you know who those people are around here. And if you are being silent, if you are not calling those people out, if you are not addressing it, if you know that those people are in positions of authority, if you know that they are on police forces, if you know that they work in hospitals, if you know that they are on the fire department, if you know that they're on the county commission or the city council or the board of mayor and aldermen, if you know those people that have those feelings, and you know they hold those positions and you're silent, you are complicit in them. Yes, I do. You are complicit. Period. You are participating. You are participating, folks. And you can get mad if you want to, but your silence is the same thing as an endorsement for racism. It really is. If my mother didn't live here and my daddy wasn't buried here, I wouldn't come back. And that doesn't discount some of the really great people that I've met here, right? Here's the thing, the really great people that I've met here don't outweigh the hatred, the willful ignorance, the racism, the sexism, the misogyny, um, all of that stuff that exists here. It outweighs. I would rather have the handful of people that live here that I think are amazing, that I know personally. I would rather be like, hey, y'all come to where I'm at. Like, if y'all want to see me, we can go somewhere else, right? But if my mother brings me here, yeah. And that's the thing. So listen, y'all, like I said, I grew up here. My brother in like fifth or sixth grade was at Holston View Elementary School. They had a mock election. The teacher allowed his class to elect my brother nigger of the year. This is in my lifetime. Yeah, just saying. One of my brothers was put off the bus. He was kindergarten, first grade, a mile from school, put off the bus, put the little black boy off the bus. Richard, if you want to, if you listen, all you got to do is go to the daggone Sullivan County database, sir, and see if there's not a court case pending where I'm concerned. And this is the thing. So, like, well, there you go. And I hear people say, when people say, well, we have to stay in order to make a difference. But here's the thing. I don't have to, I have no desire to be a martyr. Like, I did enough of that over the ballot thing. And there comes a point in time where my mental and emotional health and well-being is more important than anything else. And I say this, and I mean it. Racism is not something that Black people can fix. It is something that white people have to fix. It really is. You know? Jamie. Right. And that's the thing, Macy. That's what it's going to require other people desiring to see change, and talking to their neighbors and calling them out, and calling them out for the joke that they told that's inappropriate, for the text message thread that they have that's inappropriate, for the yeah, Danye. Yeah, yeah, Danye. Um, and that's the thing, right? I told somebody the other day, I will be your angry Black woman if that's what you need to label me as. Um, and then I will tell you, like I said the other day, Jesus got angry too. Injustice will make you angry. Um, Greed and the mistreatment of people will make you angry sometimes. It will make you loud. Um, you know, it just is, it is what it is. So let me ask you this, Richard. So are you saying that your paper never prints anything about anything other than Irwin? I just want to be clear. I just want to be clear. Your paper never prints anything that does not involve Irwin. I just want to be clear. I just want to make sure that your paper doesn't ever print anything that exists outside of Irwin's however many thousand people I had pulled up. Unicoi County only. Gotcha. Yes, Barbara. I get that, right? And that's what people don't. So that's the other part that people don't get is that it's when you have if you are white passing, right? And this is the thing. I'm high yellow, but I've never been high enough in my yellow to pass for white. They always knew I had something. They might not be sure what it was. Look, they might not be sure. And don't let me take my tail to Texas or California because they'll be like, ¿habla español? No, no habla español un poquito. Like, no, that's not me, right? But I get it all the time. No, we know the answer to that question though, don't we, Barbara? Right? We know the answer to that question is that no, men do not get talked about the same way for speaking out or being passionate or saying. I mean, look at the difference between John McEnroe playing tennis, a white male, and Serena Williams or oh, come on, what's my other baby? What's my other girl? Naomi, right? Look at the difference. Like John McEnroe, he would beat them tennis rackets, and he would all of that, right? And it was just he's passionate about the game, and but let a woman of color do it. Osaka, right? Thank you, Ethan. And those are just the standards, and so Macy be loud. She be typing in all caps when she gets mad. And let me tell you something. So Macy, let me just point this out, right? Because I appreciate your voice and your loud. And there's the difference. If my voice was like yours, the things that they would say about me. Just saying. Yep. Exactly. So anyway, these are the things when people listen, say what you want to say. Irwin is still considered a quote unquote probable sundown town. For me, the things that I know about this region, the things that I know about Irwin and have my entire life, and people saying, I've seen Sundown Town signs as recently as 2017 with my own eyes, right? For me, that's enough for me to just be like, nah, I can hold my pee for another 7 to 8 exits until I get to Washington County, because that's my best shot, right? I don't want to stop in Carter County either. Me and red lipstick. Yeah. Oh, wow. Really, Harley? And you live in this region, right, Harley? Oh, now that I can believe. So Harley, I'll tell you a quick tidbit. A quick tidbit. So when I was going, so my mom is white. I pointed that way because she's that way, right? You're in Kingsport. Okay, cool. So and so we would go home. My mom was from a small town in Iowa. So we would go home for to her home for family reunions. And we would be in the grocery store and we would wait I'd wait until my mom was like a few aisles over and start yelling, "Mom, mom." And all the white people were like, who's she yelling mom for? And then it would be my white mom with red hair and green eyes, with auburn hair and green eyes, right? And they would look so confused, like, where how does this happen? Um, it's funny, like, even when I was here the last 2 years and I was living in Kingsport, we might all go somewhere and my mom be with us and them not be sure if we are all together, if we're part of the same party, going to the hospital and wanting to know, well, who's your next of kin, and and is this person with you or not? The look of uncertainty, where they don't even know how to ask, right? Harley, all I can say is that for me, growing up here as like the first loving generation, right, to go through schools and things like that, it was no fun. It was no fun. And I can imagine, especially with your two older children. And it's really tough. It's really tough. Um, but for people to act like these things aren't here, just because there's not burning crosses in yards and things like that, it's just not true. The truth is that when you make up less than 1% of the population in an entire county, how do you speak up safely? How do you speak up and know that you're still going to have a job, a home, or anything? No, it's not just in this area, but Richard, guess what? I don't live in Charleston. I do broadcasts about things on a national scale. This just so happened to be because I was driving home. And this is not the first time I've ever posted this. This is not the first time I've ever posted that I don't stop in Erwin. I don't. And I haven't for years. I promise you, I did a live about it 3 or 4 years ago. Right. And Barbara, that's the other thing too, is there's this standard that we get held to that they don't. I've listened to white males in political positions here, speak pure nonsense, sitting up on their board or their county commission or whatever, but because they are a white male, they get away with it. It's not questioned. It's not any of that. And the thing is, half of them are, yeah, they do love to pretend it's not real. They do. But it is. And Addie, you're not the first person to tell me that. I did a on my podcast, my audio podcast, I did an interview with a friend of mine. Her name is Jennifer, and she agreed to do an interview with me, and we talked at Lord Jesus. If one more person brings up Martin Luther King Jr. about racism, I'm gonna need y'all know y'all hated that Negro when he was alive, right? Y'all do know y'all tried to lynch his ass. Y'all put him in jail. Y'all do know you didn't like him when he was alive and breathing. You only liked him when he died, when he was murdered. You do know that, right? I'm gonna need y'all to stop acting like y'all love that man. Y'all could not stand that man. That is why he is not here today. Shoo-wee. Made me forget what I was saying. Addie, there you go. I'm back at you. Okay. So Addie, I did an interview with a friend of mine named Jennifer, and she was talking about the same thing, how we became friends in high school, because she'd come to my high school, Tennessee High, is where I went to school. And so she'd come there. It was her first day, and she didn't know her way around. The friends that were supposed to meet her didn't meet her, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I let her around and we became friends. And she and I did an interview, and we talked about like what it was like for her to be at the dinner table and listen to her papa say really racist things and use the N-word, and her feel like that's her papa, so she couldn't say anything in response to what he says. You know what I mean? And yeah. You know, there's a quote. I'm going to look it up before I get off this broadcast. Hold on a second. People hate it when I tell them this, but this is a real thing. So let me tell you what happened. President Lyndon B. Johnson, they were riding through Nashville, Tennessee. There was a parade. They were going through Nashville, Tennessee. And there's people that are holding their signs up, these very racist signs and so forth and so on. And he was like, where does this come from? And all this other stuff. And let me tell you what, this is a quote from President Lyndon B. Johnson. And this is what he said. And people don't like this quote, but it's real. He said, and I quote, if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on and he'll empty his pockets for you. End quote. And if that ain't the damn truth, I don't know what is. Rich white people got poor white people believing that people of color are the reasons for their problems, while the rich people picking their pockets. I'm going to read it to y'all one more time for the kids in the back. For the kids in the back, in case you weren't listening. Here's the quote. If you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on and he'll empty his pockets for you. Absolutely. Same way with immigrants, Barbara. I have been cussed out for posting that quote. I have been called so many names, but it is true. It is true. Here's my thing. Okay. And here's my thing, Richard, when you say Erwin needs more Black-owned businesses. So let me ask you this question. What is Erwin doing to incentivize Black people to open businesses there? What is Erwin doing to incentivize minority-owned businesses to come to that region, to live there? What type of tax breaks are you giving specifically to minority-owned businesses? How much courting of Black women who are the fastest, largest growing group of entrepreneurs in the country, who are the highest educated, fastest growing group of educated people in the country? You tell me what the city of Erwin is doing to invite those women and those men and those people of color. And you tell me that. While you're telling me what they need, you tell me what they are doing to bring them there. Because I've seen them bend over backwards for white people in this region. Whew. Just saying. Oh, I got that quote for you, girl. I got it all day, Jamie. I got you. I got you. Yeah. I've posted that quote several times over the years because it's true. I'm going to give you the pretty version of it. I'll even give it to you like on a little meme, a little pretty image. I could do that for you. I got it for you. No, that one's blurry. I want to make sure it's one. Here we go. This one will do. . All right. I'll post it here in just a second for you. And here's my thing. So when you say they don't have the funds to incentivize anyone, my thing would be, there are lots of ways to incentivize that aren't just about money up front. You and I both know that. You and I both know that. There's lots of ways that you can incentivize. Tell me this, what is Erwin doing right now for the Blacks in their community? Like, what are you all doing in terms of opportunities, education, entrepreneurship programs? If you really want to attract them there, why not start within the people that are already right there in your community? What are you guys doing for them? Are you having conversations with them? Are you sitting down and having meetings? Are you going out into their neighborhoods and talking to them? Tell me what you're doing. I mean, I know they're less than like 1% of the population, but if they're important to you, what you doing? You cannot sit back on your heels and say, well, we need you, but we don't have extra money to help you get here. Hell no. Why should Black people do that? Y'all been incentivizing white people to have businesses there for a long time. Why should Black people come because you need, and yet you can't incentivize us when they can go to other places in other regions that have definitive programs and all kinds of things that entice and make minorities want to have businesses there? Why in the world, again, should we suffer because of something you need? And would Erwin still want and need Black-owned businesses if Erwin had money? Like, if your white businesses were running everything just fine, would Erwin still want Black businesses? I don't particularly think so. I'm just saying. So, whew. All right, y'all. We can talk about this for a while, but we're not going to. I'm gonna take care of my mama. I'm here in town to do some things for her, with her, and that sort of stuff before I go get my grandbabies. And yeah, I do have to breathe because it's still this whole thing like, oh, we need you, but we can't afford to give you anything. What? What? Nobody's picking cotton anymore. No. No. Anyway. I get it, Richard. I get it. I would again say, you know. All right, folks. I'm out of here. You now know why I hold my pee when I drive through Unicoi County. It's because somebody wanted to come chiping at me today about it. And it is what it is. I gave you all the link to Lowen's work on the Sundown Towns. I want to give you the introduction to his book too, because it's fantastic. If you would like to read the introduction to the book that he wrote, that's the link right there. It in and of itself is ridiculously powerful. You know, let me see if there's anything else. You can look at the other ones you can look at everybody. There's an interactive map. So you can click on the map and read for yourself who's there, why they're there, and why they're considered to still be a sundown town, or why they are a probable sundown town event. Barbara, we can absolutely do that. Let's have a chat. I'm willing to come back for an event. So we can make that happen. I'm out of here, you guys. Y'all be amazing, be light, be love. Oh, wear that mask, physically distance, and get vaccinated. I'm just saying. Okay. All right, Macy, hit me up. Good night, Kathy. Bye, guys.